One of the things I've heard psychologists talk about as they analyze from afar the behavior of Donald Trump is one of the signs of cognitive decline. And what they're seeing exhibited by Donald Trump is this tendency to just sort of speak on loop and say the same things over and over again. Your brain can't really form new original ways to articulate a concept. And so instead it just sort of wiggles itself into the comfortable talking points that you've practiced over and over again. And we see that a lot. This latest example comes within the context of Trump posting another series of videos. Every so often, he'll just dump a big batch of videos on True Social, and they're always wild. And this one I saw reported on from media as Trump repeats himself whopping 21 times in 2 minutes, ranting about presidential immunity Supreme Court case. And while this is a common occurrence for Trump, sort of short-circuiting and just they're coming from jails, they're coming from insane asylums, they're coming from, we don't even know where they're coming from, they're coming from jails, and just boom, boom, boom. It's like you're in a laundry machine, boom, boom, boom. And here it's even worse than normal, as you're about to see. And then after I play this one for you, I'll show you a couple others on different subjects, and they're not any better.
The Supreme Court will address the historic question of presidential immunity. Without presidential immunity, the president cannot function, as his political opponents will blackmail and extort him with the threat of wrongful persecution at every turn, including when he leaves office. They're going to say, you don't give us this, whether it's for taxes or military or anything, we're going to go get you because we're allowed to now because you wouldn't have immunity. We're going to get you after you leave office. It literally would be blackmail. We look forward to presenting our case in the Supreme Court. It's going to be one of the most important cases because without presidential immunity, you have nothing. You don't have a president. You have just a ceremonial position, and we can't have that. A president has to be strong, has to be powerful, has to make good decisions. But if you don't have presidential immunity, if you don't have a strong form of immunity, you're not going to have anything. You're not going to have a president that can function. It's not going to work. It would never work. Everybody assumes that a president has immunity. A president has to have immunity.
Oh my goodness. I can't subject to this whole thing. This is so weird. Did I click back and we're listening to? No, jump into this article just to summarize for us. Trump repeated the themes over and over, like presidents must have immunity, a president without immunity doesn't work and is nothing, and the founders want the president to have immunity, a very originalist argument. Let me show you what we just got, but with the opposite argument. Okay, so first, before playing this second clip where he contradicts what he just said, crazy, but let me do what Trump did, but with the argument we're making. Okay, a president can't have immunity. If a president has complete and total immunity, then they could act in criminal ways and get away with it. A president can't have immunity because then they could do whatever they want and get away with it. A president, you have to have a president that doesn't have full immunity so that they don't do things that are criminal and get away with it. Okay, but think of something new to say. There would be damaging repercussions in a world where the United States president thinks they can govern themselves above the law. While of course there has to be limited immunity for presidential acts that fall under the umbrella of official duties, the idea of total immunity flies in the face of the concept of law and order, no one being above the law, and rule of law applied equally to all. So if you act outside of your official presidential duties in a way that is criminal, then of course you should be treated like any other person. Otherwise, what do we even have in this country? But instead it's just, you can't have it, you can't have it, you can't have it. My goodness. Here is Trump now saying that Biden is acting in criminal ways in prosecuting Trump, even though Biden's not prosecuting Trump, but Trump is blaming his own potential violations of law and thus the legal accountability on Joe Biden and personal responsibility, right? And here he is now saying that Biden's acting illegally and should be prosecuted for it, but he just argued that presidents can't be prosecuted for illegal acts. So Trump, you're saying Biden has permission to do what you're saying he's doing to you, which he's not doing to you.
What point are the actions of a sitting president using lawfare and weaponization against his opponent for purposes of election interference considered illegal? I believe, as do various highly respected legal scholars, that crooked Joe Biden has long since crossed over that very sacred threshold. He is a criminal. He is a horrible president. He's the worst president in the history of our country. And the only way he thinks he can get elected is to take me to trials, take me to courts, city, state, and federal. They control them all.
Sleepy Joe doesn't know where he is, but also he controls every single court in the land.
Of these cases that you're reading about are crooked Joe Biden's case, because he can't put two sentences together. He can't.
Do you notice that? There was a cut, which means Trump made a mistake. And so they had to cut him in to start the new sentence. And he's doing that while he's criticizing Biden for not speaking effectively.
Do anything. So they weaponize government and they take me to court on bullshit. So
Wow.
we are going to.
Dropping the B-bomb. Big man. My goodness. But do you understand the contradiction of that? Two videos right next to each other. It's like when we talk about him posting a massive fraud this type of magnitude allows for the termination of all rules and regulations, even those rules, regulations, and articles. There we go. Even those found in the Constitution. And then also saying that a few posts later, he never said that. And they're both up on his account and they contradict each other. Here's the same thing. You have two videos. One where Trump says the president should be able to do whatever they want with immunity. Otherwise, you don't have a president. And if you don't have that, you don't have a president. And if you don't have that, then you don't have a president. And you need to have a president, a strong president. And if you don't have that, then you don't have a president. It's just ceremonial. But so then he's arguing that Biden could do whatever he'd like, even if he was engaging in lawfare, as Trump accused him of. And then over here, he's saying Biden should be held legally accountable for engaging in lawfare. Again, he's not, but the allegation is. And that doesn't align with his argument about presidents having immunity. Pretty crazy stuff. Then Trump comes out and it's been a disaster for him politically since he released that video trying to clarify his stance on abortion, because he upset conservatives because they didn't go far enough in their mind. He upset liberals, or just the majority of the country, middle and left, that is upset about the overturning of Roe v. Wade because he kept taking credit for it, which we should give him the blame for that and all that has come of it. And so instead of trying to do introspection and figure out, could I articulate a better stance or go in the correct direction, can you imagine? He just declares victory.
You know, the Democrats are reeling when they have no response to my recent statement on abortion other than, oh, he's only kidding, or he will change it, or he's not going to do that, he'll do something else, because he knows and they know that when they say that, they're in trouble. I guess this means that we will win the election because they're so bad on every other issue. They are so bad on the border, on the economy, on energy, everything. We were energy independent just 4 years ago.
We're currently producing more energy than we have any time in American history, including more oil than any time in American history. Even under Donald Trump, we're more energy independent than we were under Donald Trump.
And now look.
And the border, of course, Trump got the MAGA Republicans to kill the border deal that was endorsed by the Border Patrol Union. The economy has seen one of the most stunning recoveries since the horrific crash that we experienced because of the pandemic and the mishandling under Donald Trump. But the recovery has been remarkable under Joe Biden.
Look what happened, and look what happened to our country. Millions of people flowing in from prisons, from jails. It's really a terrible thing. So there
it is. Okay. So instead of doing any alteration, he's just saying, nah, it's good. The Democrats are reeling. They're frightened. They're lying about me. Which, by the way, we're not necessarily even saying the reason why you should vote against Donald Trump is because he's lying and he would do a national abortion ban. Now, I think if that got to his desk, he probably would sign it. But let's say he wouldn't. The issue is that people want their rights protected nationwide. And Trump is responsible for that being reversed, where people's rights aren't being protected nationwide. And so in state after state, we're seeing these horrible laws implemented. And he's willing to say that's because of him. He's responsible for the overturning of Roe v. Wade with the justice he got on the court. And so we're just saying, thank you for admitting that. You're the one saying that, Trump. And we're going to say then, we don't want someone who's responsible for the reverse of rights nationwide, the stripping away of people's basic rights. And so we're going to vote against that person. Deal? Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, click the alert bell and the like button, drop a comment. Talk to you in the next video.